Hey, Facebook. Wait till I get a couple viewers on here before I start. It is beautiful today. The rain really cooled it down. It's really nice outside. Hi, Carrie. Talk Grace and I said hello. Hi, Donna. Mm-hmm. Bryce is ready. Teddy. Hi, Teddy. My sister Brittany. Oh, thank you, Calvin. Edward. Adriana's on. Jade Summers, the gigs. Okay, so I got already 30 people watching, or 28 people watching, whatever. But okay, so I'm gonna get started. People can catch up, they can refresh or whatever they're gonna do. But I want to talk about a little bit about my experience with the Miss Trans USA pageant. I want to say first and foremost, congratulations to Eddie Broadway, my Mr. Arizona, for capturing the crown, and to Bianca Nicole. You were absolutely stunning, and getting to know you a little bit backstage and kikiing with you backstage was really, it was really awesome. It was really awesome. Um, I decided to do this pageant because I really believed in what the system was about trans visibility. And when they added the whole nonprofit part about it, I was really, really excited about it because as Miss Phoenix Pride for a whole year, I, did wonderful things for our community and helped raise tons of money for our community. And I kind of wanted to do that on a national level. So that's why I decided to do the pageant. 'Cause I really wanted to make a difference, just not just in my state, but also just nationally. Um, I want to say to Gerardo and Luis, thank you so much. I really, really did enjoy doing the pageant, and I hope you guys much, much success in the future. And I hope that a lot of people do this pageant in the future. Um, I do say that if you are going to continue with this pageant, that you should make sure that all of your judges are educated on what they're judging, because some of my scores I was a little confused on. There was three judges that were very consistent, and then three judges who weren't very consistent. So I think you really need to educate your judges on what is expected and what they're supposed to be judging to give everyone a fair shake. Um, so I'll just go into a couple of my scores that kind of baffled me a little bit, and and I'm not saying I should have won. Absolutely not. I'm very happy for Bianca, and I'm excited to see what she does in the future with this title. And I think she would do an amazing job as Miss Trans USA. But I'll start off with my interview scores, and I think that being Miss Arizona and being first out of 14 contestants really kind of hurt me a little bit because the three judges who were consistent had me sixth in interview, and that's okay. I was a little um, uh, I was a little nervous, but because I haven't done a pageant in a while, but I thought I did a pretty amazing job at my interview, but a couple judges had me last an interview, or one judge had me last an interview, and one judge had me 13th in interview out of 14 contestants, and that was a little baffling to me. I don't know if maybe because I was first and there's 14 contestants, they kind of forgot what my interview was about, or whatever the case was. But being 13th and 14th in interview by two judges, I don't think that was an appropriate placement. Brazil, Montel, Christina Chase definitely had me consistent, and I appreciate their scores. But when you place someone last in interview, and you tell them that you're amazing interview on your contested comment sheets, there's really no room for improvement. I don't know why you had me last in interview. Obviously, that score was dropped, but also the 13th place wasn't dropped. When that kind of brought my my average down for interview, because it made me like 9th overall in interview. So I really think that you really need to educate your judges on what they're supposed to be judging, especially if you're going to do comparative judging with that many contestants. Either you need to make it more of a fair playing ground, either need to base our interview individually, still do the ranking system for 60 points, whatever, but I think judge us individually, or you need to break us into groups of 5 or whatever, and then you can rank those 5, and the next group rank those 5, because 13th and 14th in interview, I think that was kind of a little, I don't know, they got me together in interview, and going into the pageant that night, I was 9th place, and I was 60 points behind the first place, and that's a lot of points to catch up, especially when being comparative. My state costume, my scores were pretty consistent. I want to say thank you to Wes. He did an amazing job with my costume, and I truly I loved it, and I think it represented my state very well. But in state costume, I was consistently 3rd in my state costume, but then someone put me 6th in state costume, and it can be personal preference. There was a lot of amazing state costumes, and I didn't even know in the back when I was watching everyone put their costumes on that who was going to win that category, because there were so many great costumes. I'm going to go to my swimsuit scores now, because this was a little baffling to me. Consistently, I was 1st and 2nd from 3 judges. Then 3 judges had me 6th, 8th, and 10th in swimsuit. And the person who had me 10th in swimsuit gave me raving reviews on my swimsuit, talking about how beautiful I looked, the swimsuit fit. They loved my umbrella, and which definitely brought my average down a lot. And again, I think that maybe they were inexperienced in judging, or they just maybe forgot what I looked like in swimsuit, because there was 14 swimsuits. And when you're doing a comparative and you don't bring us all out to compare, it's kind of hard to remember what number 1 was wearing compared to when there's 14 contestants. So I think definitely if you're going to do a comparative judging on that stuff, you should definitely bring us back out. And thank you, Dr. Martin. Definitely bring us back out, so that way people can actually remember what people wore and what they're scoring. Because being 10th in swimsuit, there's no way I was 10th in swimsuit. Absolutely not. There was no way I should have been 8th in swimsuit. Absolutely not. And again, that brought my scores down a lot. Evening gown, I was consistently 1st and 2nd in evening gown. And then someone put me 5th in evening gown. Again, I don't know what you were judging. Um, I know that Ava Glasgow, she won evening gown, and when I tell you she looks stunning, she looks stunning, absolutely, and she's just gorgeous. But her gown was a little short, and she had a couple of fit issues, and so for her to uh, win gown, and I think it might have been just because the gown might have fit when she got it made, but when you stone stuff, sometimes it doesn't. It just really alters the gown a lot. And although she looks stunning, she did have a couple of issues with her gown. And where Bianca and my gown, we definitely, our fit was on point. I was third in gown, not by much, but I think that, again, you need to really coach these judges on what to look for. Is this going to be a beauty pageant, or is this based on what, how the gown fits somebody? Because I honestly believe that Bianca and our gowns were, as far as fit goes, were impeccable. And I think after that, it's based on what the judge's personal preference was. And yes, judging was comparative, Chris. Every category was comparative. So, I'm not saying that Ava didn't look amazing, because she did, but she did have some fit issues with that, and I told her that in the back. I was actually trying to help her pull her gown down. I told her dresser, pull her gown down. It's too short. Pull her gown down, because I really wanted her to do amazing, because she's an amazing, amazing, amazing person. So I just think that some of the scores just weren't. I don't know, they just weren't amazing. Especially when you give me the comment sheets, you look amazing, There was no room for improvement on my score sheets. So, how am I supposed to improve on something if you put me last in interview, or 13th in interview, or you put me, 10th in swimsuit, which I should have never been 10th in swimsuit, or in evening gown, I was 5th in evening gown by a judge. So, in order for me, I would love to come back, because I will tell you this, I had an amazing time, and not just doing the pageant, but actually meeting all the contestants. The contestants were absolutely amazing, and I met some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful like-minded individuals. Ava, Carrie, Chris, Calypso, like all these amazing people, not just contestants, but also the male contestants. They were amazing. I got to get to know them a little bit, but people's dressers, and it was just an amazing, it felt almost like a sister retreat, almost. But I think that for evening gown and swimsuit, you definitely need to bring back contestants for comparative, because it's hard when you're Miss Arizona and you're number one, and there's 14 other girls behind you. You kind of forget what you're judging, unless you're very qualified. Brazil was very qualified. Christina Chase, Montel, they all judged me fairly, and I was consistent. Their scores were very consistent. And if I kind of did my tabulations a little bit, if my scores were consistent, like my 13th place interview, because 14th obviously was dropped, that's a whole extra 12 points that I could have gotten. With my state costume, someone put me 6 where I was consistently third. If I would have got those extra 6 points, that would have been an extra, points on that as well. Swimsuit, being that 3 judges had me, Christina had me first, Brazil, Montel had me second, and everyone else gave me 6th, 8th, and 10th. And that's an extra 20 points besides the dropped score that I could have got as well. And with evening gown, I was consistently first and second. The low scores were dropped. If you would have just gave me those extra points where I should have been placed, just me adding those points to where the lowest point was that I got that was consistent, I would have been first alternate at least. I'm not saying I should have won, and I'm not taking that from Ava as far as her being first alternate. I just think that, when you're doing a comparative system, you really, really need to have the judges know what they're judging, and you definitely need to bring us out for these comparative, especially when in the future when you have 52 contestants, you can't rank 52 contestants. There's absolutely no way you can rank 52 contestants. And I hope that in the future there is 52 contestants, because I truly believe in the system and what Gerardo and Luis are trying to do for our community. And I think that if you place someone somewhere, you really need to tell us what we need to improve on in these critique sheets, because there was the only bad critiques I got, and they weren't really even bad. It was just, Brazil said that I said in my speech for my creative costume, she said I said US of A, which I did, and it's so funny because I kept saying that in my mind. Do not say US of A. Do not say US of A. I said US, instead of USA. So she did comment that, and I appreciate that, because now I know to be more self-aware about that. And then Christina had mentioned that one of my tassels was longer in the back, and after seeing the video and stuff, I totally agree. I must have stepped on it or whatever. And she said I lost a couple of feathers, and because I was doing too much with my creative costume. And those are critiques that I learn next time, that I can take with me next time and learn from it. But when you tell me how amazing I am in every category, but then you put me last in certain categories, I don't understand how I'm supposed to better myself in the future. Chris, I'm curious to my shoes because I was confused about a few things. I know. And then I was talking to Miss Texas after the pageant, and we didn't have our score sheets right then and there, so we couldn't see where we placed or whatever. And she said that Candy had told her that she had won interview. And she didn't win interview. Miss Indiana won interview. And, don't give people false information. And I want to say this, Candy was super, super nice to me at the pageant. But before going to the pageant, she kind of had some ill will towards me. And I personally don't know her personally, but, I got a phone call from someone that was on the board and expressing who had quit the board because of her, and pretty much told me that she didn't like me and she didn't want me to win the pageant, and she was going to do everything she could to make sure I didn't win the pageant. And I think that being a national title holder and kind of rooting against your own contestants, it kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth, because at the end of the day, there's only going to be one winner, and 13 of us were going to go home without a crown. And whether those 13 people come back, it's going to depend on their experience, on what their experience at the pageant. So, and when he told me, Alicia told me this, I said, well, what did I do for her to dislike me? And he had brought up a situation where I guess I had worked with her in Flagstaff, when they had the Flagstaff Pride, and we were literally, she wasn't going to be into the show to the very end, and I did the Flagstaff Pride show, and we were there all day, and we danced with Kat DeLuna. We had a good time, and we were late getting to the venue, and I had literally 10 minutes to get into my costume before I was going to be on stage. And Candy was in a separate room from all of us. She was separate from all of us, so she wasn't even in the same vicinity where I was. So I had did my number, I got off, and then she was already going out to do her 20-minute share mix, and I was watching from the sidelines, and at the end of her performing, she literally had cussed out the two people who were helping her because her costume changes weren't going the way they thought they should, and she literally cussed them the fuck out. So I'm definitely not going to go approach her when she's uh, cussing people out for her costume changes not going the way they should. So I got ready for my second number, went on stage, and came back out. She was already packed up, ready to go. She was done. The show wasn't even over yet. And then that's when she introduced herself to me. And I think that as a national title holder, if you see another, especially being Miss Trans US of A, if you see another trans girl, I think you should automatically go and introduce yourself and explain to them what the system's about and potentially try to get a contestant. When I decided to do this pageant, I reached out to Brazil, not her, to Brazil for her to give me information about the pageant system. And when our conversation with Brazil, I decided to go ahead and do the pageant, you know. But also, too, I want to say this. The reason I never went into her room to introduce myself is because, one, you know, if you're separated from us, I don't want to impose myself on your personal space. I'm very big on personal space. Number two, I do not get along. I'm going to say, okay, rephrase that. I don't do her daughter, Eva, for personal reasons, you know, and I didn't want there to be any drama, or I'm sure, especially because Eva wasn't there, I'm sure Eva called her and said, hey mom, you're an hour and a half away, I'm not going to make it because Naomi's in the show with you and I don't want no drama. I'm sure there was some type of conversation about that. So I knew that going in, she already knew who I was. And, you know, I didn't want to start any drama or be a part of any drama. When there's any drama, I usually just stay silent and mind my business. So that's why I didn't approach her. So when he called me and told me that she thought I was a cunt because I never went to go introduce myself to her, girl, get your facts straight. You don't know me. You don't know me at all. And then there was an issue with, she wanted all of us to wear jeans and t-shirt for registration. And then a couple weeks before the pageant, she makes this post on the page talking about, hey, to help contestants save money, we have decided that you're going to wear your jeans and t-shirt for interview. And I posted on her a comment on the page, and I said, hey, listen, I said, I'm really not for the whole jeans and t-shirt look for interview, because I kind of feel like it takes away from our individuality. And in my mind, by her post, she said that to help contestants save money. I'm thinking that maybe a couple contestants reached out to her to express that maybe they don't have the financial means to go buy an interview outfit or whatever the case is. That's what I'm thinking, because that's the information she gave us. So then she had posted on my comment, she goes, actually, some girls aren't pageant queens, some girls aren't show girls, so this helps even the playing field with those girls. So then I personally message her, and I say, hey, listen, I said, and I wasn't trying to be a bitch at all. You know, I think sometimes when we message people, you don't know people's intent because people aren't talking. It's just typed words. And I was trying to be as professional and PC about the situation. And I told her, I said, hey, listen, I'm really not for this whole jeans and t-shirt look for interview. One, because I don't own jeans and t-shirt. I'm not a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. I had actually had to go buy a jeans and t-shirt for the registration. I think jeans and t-shirt represents, when I used to be a boy, what I used to wear as a boy. So I don't wear jeans and t-shirts. I've never worn jeans and t-shirt. And I said, I don't feel comfortable wearing jeans and t-shirt for interview. Also, I have a full sleeve. And although they were told that tattoos weren't going to be looked at as a negative, being that this is a professional interview, I don't feel comfortable showing my full sleeve tattoo on in interview. I said it will be seen in the appropriate categories like swimwear. But if you noticed, in gown, I was completely covered. In my creative state costume, I was completely covered. Swimwear, unless there's people who wear long sleeve swimsuits at the beach, you know, this is what you got. And I was very confident, and I styled my look to complement my tattoos. I went for the whole pinup look, the whole vintage look. I did a lot of research on that category. I couldn't come out with this beautiful, like, red, feminine swimsuit because it wasn't going to go good with my tattoos. I wanted to make sure that I complemented my tattoos on what I was wearing in swimsuit. And that's why I went the whole vintage pinup look. So, I expressed that to her, and I did say that, how do you expect Miss Trans USA to go across the country promoting this system if they can't even afford to go to Ross to buy a pair of slacks or a pair of shirt just to interview in? And even if you go to McDonald's or Burger King or whatever the case is, you don't go in jeans and t-shirt to those interviews. It has nothing to do with being a pageant queen or being a showgirl. It has to do with being professional. A professional trans woman. I'm a professional trans woman. I know what's appropriate to bring to an interview. And to be told that I had to conform to what you wanted to help bring everyone on an even playing field, that's not right. You can't tell me how to present myself. Absolutely not. And so I did say this. I said, other people's financial difficulty should not be my downfall, because I already have bought my outfit, and it wasn't some grand Versace outfit. It wasn't like something. I mean, I spent a couple $100, and I told her, I said, at this point, if I don't wear my outfit, I'm gonna be wasting money instead of saving money. So she responds to me. She says, I'm at work. I'll message you later. Then I get a phone call from one of the board members, because apparently she has screenshotted my message to her and sent it to the board and said, call her because I feel like she's coming for me. So she didn't want to deal with me at all. And Alicio called me, and he was addressing my concerns, and he flat out told me, Candy screenshotted my message and sent it to him and said, get this bitch, she's coming for me. So she didn't want to deal with me at all. And so then he explained to me what the whole, reasoning for the jeans and t-shirt was. And it was because I guess last year they took too long between registration, that they wanted to just get people in and out for interview or whatever the case is. And I said, you know what, here's the deal. I don't care what the situation is. I'm not wearing jeans and t-shirt in an interview, period. Absolutely not. I don't feel comfortable wearing jeans and t-shirt in an interview, which means that if I don't wear comfortable in what I'm wearing, how am I supposed to take myself seriously, let alone 7 judges take me seriously if I don't feel comfortable in what I'm wearing? So I said, why don't you, instead of making people wear jeans and t-shirt for an interview, why don't you just make a thing saying that if you want to wear jeans and t-shirt for an interview, that's okay. But whatever you feel comfortable wearing, and that's going to help you thrive in your interview, that's what you should wear. No matter if it's jeans and t-shirt or a suit or a G-string, bathing suit, whatever you feel like you want, that it's gonna help you in your interview. I think that's what you should wear. And he said to me, "You're absolutely right. I'll talk to the promoters." And I got a call back, and he said, "You know what? The promoters agree with you. You're allowed to wear whatever you want. We're gonna allow the contestants to change if they choose to change." Then, awesome. That was awesome. That's all I needed to know. Then when CeeLo called me, and my husband was in the car with me, and I had him on speakerphone, so my husband can attest everything that I'm saying right now. He called me and told me, "Hey, listen, I want you to know." And reason I decided to do the pageant was because I knew Alicia and I knew Brazil were going to be there, so I knew that they were going to have my best interests in anything I did, and I knew that if she didn't like me, I was going to have them on my side. He called me and said that he had quit the board because of Candy. Because Candy was pretty much, I guess, not happy with him. And because, one, he was answering questions for us on our page. I guess she felt that by him responding to our questions. Now, mind you, he's on the board. So it doesn't really matter who tells us the answers to the questions. Someone just needs to tell us the answers to the questions that we have. She felt that it was making her look bad as the title holder because it's her responsibility to respond to the contestants and not his job. So from then that point on, he stopped responding to all of our messages, and we started getting our answers from Candy. Well, then, when I guess the final straw is when CeeLo decided to call the contestants just to see how they're doing. You know, "Hey, how are you?" And I appreciate calls like that, especially, it shows that the pageant system is not just in it for the money. They actually care about their contestants. So getting a call from someone from the board saying, "Hey, I just want to call and check on you. How are you doing? Are you, is there anything you need from us?" Whatever. No matter who it's from, I appreciate that. And, I told him, I said, "Hey, no, I'm doing great. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you so much for calling." And I guess when she found out he was calling contestants, she even flipped out even more. And I guess that's when he decided that he was going to quit because he can't deal with all of that. So when he called me, he told me, "Hey, I quit, and I'm letting you know that Candy does not like you. She thinks you're a fucking cunt. And she does not want you to win, and she's going to do everything she can to make sure you do not win." And I was like, "Okay, but what have I done to her?" So then he brought up the whole show thing in Flagstaff, the fact that the promoters were allowing me to change. They gave in to me to allow me to change for interview. She couldn't stand that. And I will say this, I wasn't the only contestant that changed for interview. There was 3 of us that changed. And the rest decided to do their interviews in jeans and t-shirt. And, my husband told me after, he goes, "Why do you still want to do this pageant if the national title holder just doesn't like you and it's going to do everything she can to make sure you don't win?" And I said, "I'm not going to let someone dictate what I do. I'm not going to let someone tell me I can't do something because you don't like me. Absolutely not. If I would have done that, I would have never transitioned. I gave up my whole family because I transitioned, because they told me that if you do this, you're not allowed to come around anymore. So I'm not going to let some other trans woman tell me that I don't like you and you're not going to win the pageant. I'm still going to go do what the fuck I have to do. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Absolutely." And I still did the pageant. Now, when I got to the pageant, she was super nice to me. I'll say she was nice to me. Whether it was an act or not, I appreciated it. And so I conformed. I wore my jeans and white t-shirts to registration, and the first thing out of her mouth when she comes to talk is says, I said crew neck shirts. So if you have a crew neck shirt, and this is in front of all the contestants, if you have a crew neck shirt, I want you to change. I was wearing a V-cut shirt. Still jeans and a white t-shirt, but it wasn't crew neck. So I was like, this fucking bitch. She's literally looking at me while she is saying this. And Kimber can attest to this because I literally kicked Kimber in the back because she was in front of me. I said, and Kimber's like, bitch, she can't. I said, I know she did. I absolutely know she did. She wanted to make me an example. That's fine. I still wore my V-neck shirt. And the reason is because of this. Not only do I not wear jeans and t-shirt, but I'm very big-breasted. By choice. I have very broad shoulders, not by choice. So wearing a crew neck shirt is going to make me look like a fucking football player. Like a linebacker. So I chose to kind of accentuate my femininity a little bit. And she still came for me. So also I think that, if the system wants to succeed, you can't have your national title holders belittling or saying that you don't want a contestant to win or whatever, because that's kind of discouraging for me to want to come back. And especially because I really believe in what the system has to offer. But I wasn't going to let her dictate what I did in life. I went there, I did what the fuck I had to do, and I did it to the best of my ability. And I'm very proud that I represented my state to the best of my ability. So that's pretty much it. But, a lot of us won't come back because of Candy. Well, you know what? I think she said something about her being on the board next year or still being involved. If she's involved with this system, I'm for sure not coming back. Absolutely not. Just because of the way I was treated. And, I'm the type of girl that if you don't like me, I'm cool with it. But tell me to my face you don't like me. Don't sit there and tell people I'm a cunt behind my back or be secretive about it. Because I'm the type of girl that if I don't like you, I'll tell you I don't like you. Be that bitch. Say what you mean what you say. Be real. I'm as real as they come. If I don't like someone, girl, trust me, y'all know I don't like you. I really appreciate it because the experience I gave my girls was robbed from you girls. Brazil, I'm going to say this. You know what? You truly you were the life of the party for us. Even though you were a judge, you still came out with us and hung out with us. She was nowhere to be found. She was only there at the places she was supposed to be there. And I really appreciate the fact that, you put all your traditional duties aside and you still were a part of the group. No matter if you were head judge or not, you still were a part of the group. And that really made a big difference for us. That made me truly respect you even more. And I love you for that. I think that, you were the reason that, knowing that, and it's so funny because I told CeeLo, I go, I don't know what I'm going to do. You're not there no more. Who am I going to have on my side? And he goes, Brazil will be there, and she has your back. And I truly believe that you truly did have my back. So I appreciate you. I love you. And just keep doing what you do. She's not. I'm a board member, and I refuse to have it. Well, I hope not. And Brazil, and I hope that, when I say that I wrote down my little score sheet, so I had them, because I don't have them pictures, but, these score sheets didn't make sense to me, and it wasn't because I was being bitter that I lost, or absolutely not. It's just that some of these scores, you know, being that I was told that she didn't want me to win and she was going to make sure that I didn't win, how do I know that these scores were not a part of that? How do I know that she didn't talk to some judges to get me together? Because there should have been no way I was last in interview or 13th in interview or 10th in swimwear. You know, the educated judges knew what the hell, the educated, unbiased judges knew what the hell they were judging, and they judged me correctly. And those are the scores that I would never, ever argue with. But these rigatoni scores, I'm like, who are these people? Like, seriously, I've never heard of you guys. She said she was going to be a board member of that other organization that her friend created. Well, you know, best wishes to her. You know, and this is, I don't have no ill will towards Candy. I don't dislike her. I don't know her to dislike her. So, you know, best wishes to her. But, you know, she shouldn't be disliking me because of things that she makes up in her head that I should have done. No, girl, I'm not going to grovel at your feet when you're in another room secluded from all of us. I'm not that bitch. I'm not that big of a fan. Period. Don't know you. Not that big of a fan. But the way you treated me, and I'm sure, and it's so funny because the way you treated me is the same experience that other girls had as well that were doing the pageant. So, I know you wanted a certain person to win. I'm okay with that. But you know what? Keep your opinions to yourself, especially when you're the national queen. Do not go against your contestants, especially because I spent money. I spent $8,000 running for this pageant. And, you know, when I go to a pageant and this is $8,000 without even a talent portion. The last year I competed for Miss US of A, I spent $22,000 competing for US of A. So I don't mind spending my money to ensure that I put the best package and represent myself and my state to the best of my ability. But don't, especially when, you know, I spent this much money, don't tell me I'm not going to win. Don't tell other people you don't want me to win, because that's not cool. It's not cool. And I told myself, girl, I pray to God that Candy does not literally come for me at this pageant, because I'm that bitch that I may not snatch a crown, but I snatch bitches. Hands down. Hands down. And I didn't want to be that girl to get you on the outs. But if you would have disrespected me in person, like you disrespected me behind the scenes, and to the board of directors or to whoever, girl, you would have got your ass whooped. And that's me being real. Absolutely. I'm not that girl. I don't play that fake bullshit. So, I'm glad to hear that she won't be a part of this system anymore. But Gerardo, Luis, and I totally forgot the girl's name that was with Gerardo and Luis with the big old booty. They were amazing people. And this whole trip, honestly, besides the pageant being what it was, the girls made it for me. They were just amazing people. And I met my husband when he called me. He goes, "How's the pageant going?" I said, "You know what? I don't know how it's going to go. I don't really care. But I met some amazing people. Amazing people. And people that I would be friends with, you know, for a long time. And that I would have never got the opportunity to meet these people if it wasn't for Miss Trans USA." So, but I truly am happy for Bianca. I I love her. She was beautiful, stunning. Ava, bitch, Barbie doll, love you. Kimber, you were my sidekick this whole pageant. Your husband, Grayson, Cece, y'all just, I loved hanging out with you guys. And I would definitely do this pageant again, but I have to make sure that the there's the correct judges are on the panel that know how to judge. Win or lose, I still want to be judged correctly. And three of the judges were consistent, but the other three were not consistent, and that really brought my total down a lot. I mean, I was second alternate by 30 points, and that's a lot of points between first alternate and second alternate, being that it's a comparative scoring. And definitely these interview scores did not help me at all. And if consistently, like I said, if I would have done all my totals and I would have consistently put my scores where the consistent scores were, I would have been at least first alternate. So I would have never have won. I'm not saying I would have won, but some of these scores just don't make sense to me. So, I encourage Brazil, keep doing you, girl, and hopefully that person is not a part of the system. I respect her as an elder. Listen to me. I respect Kenny as an elder because, she is an elder trans woman who is, she has a job and she's doing things that most trans women feel they can't do. Most trans women go into the sex industry because they feel that they have to hide the fact that they are trans. Most women, trans women are only come out at night because they're afraid that they're not passable to go out during the daytime. So the fact that, I respect the fact that you have a job and you're out there, but like you said in your, multiple times, that you didn't come out as a trans woman until 6 months ago. You were living that stealth life. And it took this pageant system for you to come out at 57 years old. Or 55, I'm not quite sure what you said. But I want to let you know this, that, honey, since I've transitioned, I've been out there. I've been doing me. I didn't live no stealth life. So, to belittle me and to say you don't want me to win the pageant, girl, you don't know me. So take your own experiences, keep your own opinions to yourself. But if you want to be that bitch and you want to talk shit about me, girl, say it to my face. I don't mind. You fly for free, I fly for free. We can meet at a middle destination and we can talk our differences out. But I never intentionally meant to come for you. That was not my intention, although you thought I was coming for you. But just, that's one of the problems we have in our transgender community, is that we're always trying to belittle each other for some reason. And it's like, girl, we're all in the same motherfucking boat. We're all on this boat together. And the minute that we stop fighting with each other is the minute that we could take the fight to the pitches that were trying to take our rights away. That's the reason why I decided to do this pageant, was to help make a difference. And not be stealth for 6 months in my reign. I was going to be visible from day one till the last day. So, girl, don't come for people. And shame on you for you truly made this experience horrible for me, besides the fact of people making it amazing. It was just right here for me. And but I want to say thank you. Congratulations to Bianca Nicole. Congratulations to Eddie Broadway. I hope you guys doing amazing. And I know that wasn't the attempt. People are just ugly acting. That won't happen again. I'll be working with all of y'all. Well, thank you, Brazil. Like I said, I never tried to come for her in my message to her. That was never my intent at all. But again, when you're typing something and then when you're saying something, can just interpret into two different things. So I'll definitely get to work on my interview scores, because well, not really work on them, but there was a lot of educated girls that were in the pageant who did a lot for the community. So maybe I need to step up my game as far as what I do for my community, and present that better next time I decide if I want to run for this pageant system. But I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. I'm Miss Trans Arizona USA, and I'm going to be that for the next year. And if any of people in my state need fundraisers or me to be there to help with something, ask Miss Trans Arizona USA. I want to be there for you and help give back to my community, because Kenny did say that Bianca is our national, and she can't be everywhere at once, and I totally agree with that. So I'll be here representing for her in my states, and hopefully we can get her out here to maybe do a show or whatever she wants to do, and be visible in our state as well to show the camaraderie that we have. But I'm going to do what I have to do for my state for the whole next year. So please utilize me in any way you can. I'm going to be here for you guys. And another thing is, one thing she did do for me too is that when she did reach out to me to see how I was doing after the fact that CEO left, and I said, I'm doing amazing, thank you. I'm waiting on 3 gowns, my 3 gowns to be finished, and then everything's good. And she goes, well, you only need 1 gown. I'm like, I know that, but I like to have options. And the next I see her post on the page, ladies, you don't need 3 gowns to compete, you just need 1. Bitch, why are you telling people what the fuck I'm doing? That's the kind of shade that I'm talking about. You shouldn't be telling people what I'm preparing for my package. And as far as my gowns, I had 1 gown being made by someone who did not finish my gown. I had another gown being made by someone who was here, and the gown came out beautiful, but unfortunately, my inspiration for the gown someone wore at Miss Continental a couple of weeks before, so I didn't want to wear that same gown and be compared to someone who wore it for Continental. And then my last gown was actually the gown that I wore. I actually had to borrow because my gown that I was supposed to have made by someone didn't get done. And I really was ignored when I was trying to reach out to this person. So I'm still waiting to get my money back. I'm still waiting to get that. So I'm thankful to Lana, who graciously shipped me her gown, and that I can wear, because that was the only gown option I had. And I want to thank all the people, Shay for helping me. I want to thank all of my supporters, my love. Most of this pageant I paid for myself. I didn't do any GoFundMes. I didn't do any fundraising, because the way I see it is that if you really want something, you got to work your ass off for it. And I'm that kind of person that I'm willing to work my ass off for it, and spend the money on my dreams and not expect others to provide it for me. So to all you pageant girls, I'm telling you this: stop making other people's asking people for money. If you want this to be your dream, come up your motherfucking coins and pay for it. And if you want to be real, that was the issue. I'll say it out there. That was the issue I had with Candy's daughter, Eva. I was all about Eva. All about her. When she first moved here, I was going to buy her a pair of titties, because I truly, truly liked her, and the fact that she didn't want to be a sex worker to help pay for them, and she wanted to live. I was like, you know what, girl? I'll go buy you a pair of boobs. Just because the fact that if you don't have to do what other girls have to do, I'm all for it. I'll help you. But it was the fact that when I took her to my doctor, we did a consultation, and I was ready to pay for her boobs. But this is when I was running for Miss or the Dancing with the Bars, and I had reached out to her and said, hey girl, can you buy one of my $25 shirts for the fundraiser, none of the money goes to me. It goes to the cause, and she never did. And so I'm like, well, why am I gonna pay for someone's boobs if they can't even support me and buy a $25 t-shirt? So at that point is when I decided that I wasn't going to do it for her. And I had a conversation with someone who brought that to my attention. Hey, I hear you're going to buy Eva some boob. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to. And I told him the reasoning. And the next day, the bitch is in my inbox talking about, hey, sis, where can I buy a t-shirt? Girl, the contest is already over. You're too late. So I just ignored the situation, didn't bring it up ever again. And I didn't have really issues with her. I just really didn't, wasn't as about her as much as I should have been. And then when she was crying on Facebook about EOI, how the promoter screwed her up and all this stuff, and she needs help from the community, I reached out to her to help her with her dream. Because I'm the type of person that I will help you. I'll do it. And, you know, she did all this fundraising, and she went to nationals, and everything was borrowed. Everything was borrowed. And I'm not saying that you didn't use that money towards your package. Maybe you didn't raise that much money in your fundraising, and you had to borrow everything, and you just used it for your, you know, your trip there, whatever the case is. But when you get on Facebook Live the next day talking about how amazing you were and woo woo woo, and then in the same breath talk about you're getting your boobs next month, bitch, you couldn't afford to do the pageant, so you had to go ask everyone else to do the pageant, and the next month you're getting some titties done? What am I supposed to think as someone who helped you? That you used that fundraising money to buy your titties, because obviously you didn't use it in your package. And then you want to tell Maya, and then when I call you out on it, because I'm that bitch, I called you out. When you want to tell Maya, I don't understand why Naomi's so mean to me, and she's going to say that. And you told Maya that, you know, James Corden gave you half of your money for your boobs. And I believe it. You and James Corden are friends. James has money. I'm sure he gave you money for your boobs. So you had that money saved up. But boobs are $5,000 or $6,000. So he gave you half of that. Where did the other money come from? And then you told Maya, girl, Eva's calling me right now. Oh, well. Then you told Maya that, you know, you had the other money saved up for your boobs. And you know what? Maybe you did. But then, if you had money saved up for your boobs, why are you asking people to help pay for your package to EOY? Eva just messaged me, wow. It's true, girl. It's true. This is why I don't do you. And you know this. And you've known this since the time this happened. And like I said, I'm not saying that you used your fundraising money to pay for your boobs, but it's a little suspect when you do a national pageant that you couldn't afford to do to begin with, and then right after you talk about you're getting your boobs done next month. So that was my issue with you, because I did help you. It may not have been a lot, but I did gracefully donate my time to help you. And that's the issue I have with you. So it's not that I dislike you. I just don't want to associate myself with people who are like that, who are in it for themselves. So I'm sure when Candy came, you told her the reason you weren't coming up to see her is because you know I didn't like you or didn't do you, and you don't want no drama to be there. So I'm sure she already had a way of feeling about me already. And the fact that I didn't go say hi to her, she just thought I was a fucking cunt. And then it is what it is. But anyways, that's the tea. I'm not here to talk about down nobody. I'm just telling you the truth on how I feel. Eva, you can think whatever you want, girl, because you know this is the truth. This is the truth. So, anyways, that's it. So, Miss Trans USA, I had an amazing time, met some amazing people. My advice, interview scores should be individually or um, comparative by groups, and just to get judges who know what the hell they're judging. So, that's it. I'm going to go get my husband some food because he's hungry. Eva, you don't need to call me, girl. Since you got back from EOY, you haven't said a motherfucking word to me. So there's no reason you have anything to say to me now. And that was, what, a year and a half ago. So, that's it. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening in. If you guys need me for anything, I'm definitely going to be here as Miss Trans Arizona USA for anything, for any benefits or any fundraising that we can do. And then I definitely want to get Bianca out here as well to show her off to all of you guys because she's absolutely beautiful. So thank you guys. I love you. Best wishes. Have an amazing Tuesday. And Eva's going live right now. Okay, girl. Go live. What I said was the absolute truth. So do you. I love you guys. Thank you. God bless.